This time on Finnegan's Garage, big changes in my world. Yes, that is the Sonny Leonard 711 cubic inch twin turbo Hemi, but it's missing the turbos because they're on the workbench. More importantly, Game Over is missing its heartbeat. Want to know why? I sold it. It's going to a new owner. I know. Brains on the floor. You probably thought it would never happen, but it is, because I am embarking on another project right after I finish the Cadillac. Check this out. Well, here's the deal. Sold Game Over, less motor, and that means I'm going to take the Sonny Leonard Hemi out. I'm going to take the turbos out. I'm leaving everything else, the intercooler, the EFI system, all the electronics, the fuel system, all of that. None of it is appropriate for what I'm going to do with this motor going forward. That's not true. You could reuse some of the electronics, like the Holley Dominator ECU. You could reuse that. But the new buyer wanted the boat. He's got his own turbo big block Chevy that he's sticking in here. And yes, I have Hemi heads, but the bottom half of this motor is big block Chevy. That is a Brodix aluminum block, 5-inch bore space, big block Chevy. So the front and rear motor plates go to a big block Chevy. The drive shaft adapter, big block Chevy. So all that stuff he can reuse. So I'm essentially about to rip out the engine and leave the jet drive, the plumbing, the wiring, everything else for the next guy. And then I will be off and running onto the next project that involves this motor, which I'll reveal to you guys here shortly. Not yet, because I don't have the vehicle yet that it's going in. But when I do, you guys will see it. So here we go. Cutting zip ties. This is the beginning of the end of my tenure with Game Over. Boom. Now it can come apart. Sorry, boat. It's been fun, but I got other adventures. Time to disassemble. So a lot of people are probably wondering, like, after 7 or 8 years even of building Game Over, why would you rip it apart? And the truth is, I think I'm at a point in my life where I enjoy the building and the driving, and it's not so much about the owning anymore. The other thing is I really like driving and competing, and I want to go racing in a jet boat. And the thing about Game Over is it's such a complicated machine. And it's complicated on purpose. Everything in this boat I didn't necessarily know about when I started, and I wanted to learn. And so EFI tuning, exhaust gas temperature probes, dual fuel systems, all these things. I wanted to learn about this, and this was my guinea pig. But the downside of all of that is this thing is so complicated. And there are no drag boat races near me, which means you're towing this thing, 500, 1,000 miles to go, race it competitively. Well, the problem with that is by the time you get there, everything's come loose. And that's not a big deal. You just tighten things back up. But if you miss one thing, one wire comes loose, one hose comes loose. If any of that results in the engine shutting off while you're going really fast, the boat crashes. That's just how it is, You can't push the clutch in. There are no brakes. In a jet boat, when the boat shuts off, you can't steer. This thing comes crashing down and you get thrown out of it. And the prospect of that just isn't fun, And so I've enjoyed goofing off with this on my local lake, but I want to go drag boat racing. I just don't want to do it in something that's EFI, twin turbo, intercooled, CO2 system running all this stuff. I just didn't want to do it. It just didn't sound fun to me. And so I'm going to go drag boat racing in something that's really, really fast, just not as complicated as this. My next drag boat will probably be a big block Chevy with a tunnel ram and 2 Dominators, and it might not even have EFI on it. I don't know. But it just isn't going to be this boat. And the other reason I'm ripping it apart is I want to go race a really fast car. Blasphemy is a lot of fun. I love rowing gears in it. It's limited. We can run 850s with it. That's all there is to it. We can't go any quicker in that car. The Rubber Duck, same thing, has an 850 cert cage in it. Could we make that car go faster? Yeah, but you'd have to start all over. You'd have to rip the cage out of it, redo the chassis, start all over. The Cadillac that I'm about to work on, 850 cert cage. And I want to go faster. I just don't want to do it in any of those cars. And so this motor is going to go into a different car. And we are going to go quicker because I'm throwing it out there. I want to get in the 200 mile an hour club at Hot Rod Drag Week. That just sounds fun to me and really, really difficult. And so this is the motor I want to do it with. I miss Sonny Leonard. I'm not getting rid of this motor. I'm going to use it in whatever does get me into the 200 mile an hour club. And so that's the next thing. Rip it out of this boat, send this boat down to the next owner, let them have fun with it, and then focus on the stuff that I have in front of me. So I'm actually not bummed out about getting rid of Game Over like I thought I would be. I thought I would just be like, no way, you know, I'd never get rid of it. But the truth is, I'm just not going to use it. I'm going to go do other things. So why not let somebody else enjoy it? That's kind of how I'm looking at this. So anyway, keep taking things apart. I preach about this all the time on this channel. Anti-seize, always put it on stainless steel bolts. This is a stainless steel bolt threading into a stainless steel T4 turbo flange, actually T6, sorry. And it did have anti-seize on it, but this thing gets so hot when you're under boost. Expanding, contracting, next thing you know, you gotta remove the bolt several years after it's been installed and it galls up and doesn't wanna go. And that's what's happening right now. This thing does not want to turn. It's gonna snap and that's gonna burn me. So I'm gonna apply some heat to it and see if I can get it out. Because if not, that's really gonna suck. I don't want to bake the Teflon out of the rod end. I'm just gonna try to heat the flange and try to expand it enough that perhaps I can get the bolt out. And if I can't, well, I might just be breaking it off from there. Because the odds are good, this section of tubing is never going to get used on anything again. So, as long as I get the turbo out of there, it's all good. I'm not moving. Maybe a little bit, and it's stuck again. Let's see. Oh, it's either turning or it's about to snap. I kind of feel like it's about to snap. Oh no. Oh. Come on, baby. Don't break. Don't break. Lefty tighty. That's what's happening here. Oh, we're getting a little loose. Either that's because I'm about to snap it or it's going to come out. Come on, baby. You don't want to be in there. You're ready to go somewhere else. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, there we go. Got stuck again. Oh, just got real tight. We're like close to the end though. Come on, baby. Oh no, it's so close. It's loose. How about this? Oh yeah, see that? You can see where the thread's kind of galled up right there. Come on, baby. Oh, dude. All right, a little more heat, a little more heat. There we go. There we go. I would have for sure snapped that bolt had I not heated up the flange again. And it got hot again. And we're stuck again. There we go, moving again, nice. Heat is your friend. There we go. Come on, baby. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. Woo-hoo! Nice. Gotta be careful because this is hot. Don't want to just grab it. So look at that. See where it just totally galled the end of the threads off right there? I would have never gotten that bolt out without breaking it in half if I hadn't heated the surrounding metal. And that just saved me hours of work down the road trying to get that bolt out. And all that was, I'll get it for you, I'll show it to you. It's just a little gas torch, a little map gas. You can get it at any hardware store. Everybody should have one of these locked away from their children, but in their home garage. So here's what I was using. It's just a propane torch and a benzomatic tip that threads onto the end of it. You can get these practically anywhere. Most hardware stores carry them, and they're real inexpensive, and they're a great way to heat something that you need to get unstuck, or for lighting off fireworks on 4th of July. Everyone should have one of these in the garage, as long as you can keep it away from your children or your idiot friends who can't be trusted with fire. We all have one of those in our lives. You know you do. They're probably named Mike, let's be real. One of the benefits of taking this thing apart, though, is I can report on some things that I've tried out and tested over the years that you guys might benefit from. And this is a race part solution part. It's a dual seal connection that I'm happy to say is stuck in the front of the motor. But I got it from Race Part Solution. It says Jodar Performance Product. And it's an O-ring type connection that gives you some wiggle room between the pipes so everything can move around and expand and contract but maintain seal. And I never had a boost leak out of this, which is pretty sweet. And this was one of my favorite parts of the whole build, was running the charge tube through the intake manifold from the turbos to the intercooler and back up. That's one of my more fun things I ever got to work on. And now I can take the headers off. Sadly, these probably aren't going to work in the car I'm building. So I don't know. We'll hang them on the wall. Or maybe we'll give them away. Maybe one of you guys would like to have these on your wall, you know. Well, we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll have a contest and give away each header. One of the nice things about the way I built this boat is it's pretty modular. Lots of things just go with the motor when you take it out. The fuel pump goes with the motor. The oil tank for the dry sump system goes with the motor. You could have even left the ignition coils on the motor and taken it out because it all mounts off the motor plates. So I'm going to take the elbow and throttle body off here. That'll give me enough room to put the sling over the motor, get the hoist in here, and lift this giant Hemi out without getting up into the rafters. And then once the motor's out, I'll pull the motor plates back off, clean up the inside of the boat, tie up all the loose wires and stuff, label everything for the next owner, you know, like this plug goes to the cam sensor, this plug goes to the crank sensor, because he's going to have a fairly similar setup. It won't be a Hemi, but it'll be a big block Chevy that should bolt in here, and once he fabs his hot and cold side, he's going to be able to reuse the EFI system, most of the fuel system. I mean, hell, if he puts a belt-driven fuel pump on here in the right spot, he could hook up the main feed line to the motor just like I did. So that'll be pretty sweet. And then this thing, which is an elbow fabricated by the late Aaron Sellers. Really cool guy, very talented fabricator. He fabricated this. This is an AccuFab 120 millimeter throttle body, like it's giant. Look at that thing. This is not going to go on the motor again with the car because it just isn't going to fit under the hood or even under a hood scoop. So this will go on the shelf over at the other side of the shop so I can stare at it every now and again, think about the good times I had with this boat, and keep smiling. I think probably before this thing goes in a car, I'm going to tear it apart here, right here in the garage, and take a look at what 2.5 years of goofing around in the water did to this thing, and refreshen it if it needs it before it goes in the car. But the next thing now is to unbolt the motor plates from the pillow blocks that are bolted to the main rails in the boat, and then hook up the hoist and get this thing out. It's almost all apart. A lot of water coming out. Alright, had one wire still attached to our GPS, that is now broken. It's a bummer. But I believe that's the only one we screwed up on. Alright, I think we're clear of the hull. We're gonna back it up. Okay. Now I can stop worrying about the hole. Phew, man. Frightening. Very frightening. This is the greatest thing ever. The hydraulic cylinder for the Chinese-made engine hoist. Well, they go out every couple of years. And a new cylinder is like 79 bucks at Jags or Harbor Freight or wherever. But for 99, you can buy an air over hydraulic setup that still works manually if you pump it. But if you hook shop air to it, oh my God, your life is so much easier. So much better. So much cooler. Yeah, I got that SFI approved flex plate in here. Really, this is just here for the starter to be able to crank the motor over. Obviously, it's direct drive boat, no transmission, so there's no point in running a heavy flywheel. Just a neutral flex plate, no balance weight on it, because race stuff. Red Loctite. Strong like bull. Let's turn it up. This is I'm not asking mode. Apparently it's not giving either. Okay, this is either gonna break the adapter or loosen the bolt. Oh yeah. Alright, now we take these 3 bolts here, and then the rear motor plate will come off the dowels. Then we can put the adapter for our engine stand on here. Oh, come on. That is not impressive. There we go. Go. That hose is dangling right there. That is the oil line that goes from our dry sump oil pump to turbos. And right now it's leaking all over the floor. But when it wasn't doing that, it was scavenging the oils out of the turbochargers. So this engine has a daily 5-stage dry sump system on it, and it works really well. It has a really low profile oil pan, and the whole setup is pretty slick. These, I'll get closer so I can show you. These are really trick Motion Raceworks adapters that are O-ringed on the top and high flow, and they bolt right to the bottom of your turbos, so you can get really good oil drain back out of your turbos so that they don't smoke. See that? Pretty sweet. Now the tricky part, get this spun all the way around, even though it doesn't want to. Need to set it down on something. Down we go. Woo! Thank goodness. Now I can stop tripping. Well, there you have it. Hemi is out of the boat. I just got to take the front motor plates off and figure out what to do with the dry sump tank while I store the motor. And then I'll mount the front motor plates back into the boat right there. Give the boat a bath, and then figure out how to get it into the new owner's trailer, because he bought an enclosed trailer here in Georgia just so he could haul this sucker back to the West Coast. And the new trailer doesn't have a winch, doesn't have a lot of tie down attachment points, stuff like that. So a few more hurdles to overcome, and then this thing will roll out of this garage once and for all, and then the Cadillac will come in this garage. And maybe, just maybe, I'll show you the real reason I sold this boat. Maybe. Look, new shirt. Go. A little bit of a sad day, but gotta be honest, I'm really looking forward to the next project. She's ready to go for her new owner. And this engine is ready to be refreshened, repurposed, and actually used to its full capability. Because I was never putting 30 pounds of boost into that boat from this engine. But a car with a roll cage? Hell yeah, man. Let's do this. I'll see y'all soon.